What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to the channel. If it's your first time, this is State of the Gaming Industry, episode 17. Now, we did take off for a couple weeks. Had to just get back in my groove and everything. But if this is your first time here, pretty much we just go over all the news, all the big gaming news for the week. Some bite-sized stuff, some larger stories that we'll take a deeper dive into, some things that I may have already talked about in like a bigger video, but we just talk about everything pretty much for the week just to get everybody caught up. So how we normally start this off, we start with the pretty much what I've been playing. I tried Metal Slug Tactics. It was okay. I'm not really a tactics guy, but I do like Metal Slug with their art style and everything, so I did give it a try. But yeah, Metal Slug Tactics, not for me. It's not a bad game by any stretch of the imagination, but yeah, not for me. I got back into Metaphor. I did take some time off from that game. I didn't play for like almost 2 weeks or like a week and a half. I had like, I think 30 hours in. Now I'm at like 40 hours, so I'm getting at a good pace. I don't want to spoil where I'm at in the game, but I'm at a part where you pretty much have to know how to fight. It's kind of like there's a gauntlet style battle approaching. If anybody's been playing it, they kind of know where I'm at with that. Recent pickups, I haven't bought anything yet. I've been looking at the Black Friday stuff. There's a couple games I'm looking at. I know Armored Core 6 is on sale for PS5 for like $20. What was the other one? Sandland's on sale also for $20. So my indulge in it. I kind of was interested in those games, and I mean, $40 for both of those isn't, too bad. So I'm thinking about possibly grabbing those, but we'll get into some of the Black Friday. So I did do a video on like early Black Friday stuff. Now the Amazon and all those other retailers that we didn't know what they were doing, those are coming out now. So we'll go over some of those for PlayStation, but let's get into what came out this week. So earlier this week we had not that much came out this week. A couple of games on Xbox, but we had what's it called? Microsoft Flight Simulator. I don't know why that doesn't have reviews yet. So Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 I played. It's cool. I know they've made this one a little more arcadey, like gamified, as far as like you having like rescue missions and things like that. Some people are complaining about the fact that yes, it doesn't take a lot of storage. I think it's around 11 gigs or something around that. But it also relies a lot on the internet and cloud and everything like that, because the game updates in real time as far as like weather patterns and what that certain area looks like. Like it's a very like one-to-one remake of what is happening in real life with Google Earth and everything. So of course that takes a lot of bandwidth and things like that, but just from the features and stuff, it seems like a pretty good game. The next one is Stalker 2, and we'll talk about some of the reviews in a second, but Stalker 2, just in general, people are just happy that it made it across the finish line. You do see it has a 74 here, but from what I've seen, a lot of people really enjoy the game. The game itself is good, but apparently there are a lot of like technical issues and glitches and things like that, and the game was huge. I think it was 120 gigabytes, and then they put out like a day one patch. It was another 100 gigs or something like that. I haven't downloaded it yet. I do plan to play it after I finish. I have like 3 missions left in Call of Duty Black Ops. That's what I meant to mention. Once I finish that in Metaphor, I'll try Stalker and then try and knock that out before Indie comes out first week of December. So we could go through some of those reviews right now. So Stalker 2, like I said, 74. But actually, before we do that, let's read this message from GSC. For people that don't know, GSC Game World is a Ukrainian game developer. So Stalker 2 was in a long time coming, because of, I think it was originally going to come out April 2022, if I'm not mistaken. Then it got pushed back and kept getting pushed back and pushed back because of what's going on over there with Russia invading and things like that. But we can read this message real quick from the developer. So it says, "Dear Stalkers, it feels utterly surreal to say that, but Stalker 2 Heart of Chernobyl is out now. That's totally wild. So was the whole development story. Despite all the odds, it's here, our biggest game, our own story, our love letter to Ukraine. After more than 15 years, the doors to the zone are open once again. It's very important, very exciting, very memorable day for all of us. It's saying it's memorable for them, all the fans. It took a lot of endless love and passion." And then they get to kind of the technical issues at the bottom where it says, "Nevertheless, Stalker 2 is a massive game. We understand that in such a game, there may still be rough edges. We literally haven't released anything of this scale before. We're absolutely committed to being here, monitoring your feedback, and quickly fixing any issues." So again, they just want to send that thank you note to everybody. They went through a few rough things, and then we could get into some of the reviews. So Hardcore Gamer gave me a 10 out of 10, saying, hey, it was developed during a pandemic and a war. It's a labor of love. It's the best sequel one could ask for. I want to find a more reputable. So Game Rant, believe it or not, so they gave it a 9 out of 10. They said overall it's truly something special. It's not perfect, but manages to succeed in some major areas that many other games fall short in. Its open world is one of the best I've seen in quite some time, but its morally great choice-driven narrative is also something worth writing home about. With the immense amount of player power it offers, Stalker 2's combat is challenging and exciting, and there's almost never a dull moment as players explore the zone. Yeah, I heard there's actually like a challenging game. Like it ain't just like you run around shoot and everything. Like it has some challenge to it. But so long as players can look past some of its blemishes, arguably overshadowed by its best features. So it mentions the blemishes, but they didn't get as like deep into it. Like once you get, like you'll see it around. Windows Central gave it an 8 out of 10. Who else? I'm trying to find the people that like. There's a lot of 8s and 7s, but then there's people that say like, okay, clearly this game wasn't fully okay. DualShocker. So as it stands now, it's fun. It has a lot of potential, but it would be unfair to call it good. You can easily sink 100 hours into it without noticing, especially if you have a deep love for its previous iterations. However, the performance issues, overall inconsistency in many areas, and clumsy presentation will hold this game back until a major overhaul comes. So I'm not going to lie. GameSpot also 7 out of 10. It says its technical issues is tough simply because it's astounding that they were able to launch the game in the first place. Made it easier to look over some of the irritating quirks, particularly when they weren't egregiously crashing the game. Yet even this might not have been the case if it also weren't an engrossing game. Stalker 2 is notably flawed in few areas that the shortcomings tend to dissipate when a compelling non-linear quest goes awry. I don't know how you say that, even though I've read the word a million times. Thanks to an unforeseen element forcing you into a frantic shootout. This unpredictability in way its various systems interact create an anomalous story set Stalker 2 apart. Fantastic. So again, for the most part, like people are saying it's a good game. It's just the fact that the technical issues, which I'm not too mad at, again, because of what they had to go through, but then also the fact that you can fix that with patches which they're already putting out. So if it was saying something about the game design, the story, the gunplay, things like that, then it's like, okay, now there's not really a whole, you can't really fix that in the game. The game's already made. So I'm definitely gonna check it out. I don't know if I want to try it on PC or not. I'm guessing it'll run better on there, but we'll see. All right, next bit of news. We have a report that Back 4 Blood 2 might be coming out. So people called this game a flop. I don't know if the sales actually came out, but Back 4 Blood was kind of like a spiritual successor to Left 4 Dead. I played it. I didn't beat it, like get through all of it, because it is obviously an online co-op game. It was pretty fun. I mean, I liked it. I'm not like a super big zombie Left 4 Dead 4-player co-op person, but I thought it was pretty good. So this text is way too small. So in 2021, Turtle Rock Studios launched Back for Blood, a spiritual successor to the acclaimed zombie franchise Left 4 Dead, created by some of the studio's original developers. While the game received mixed reviews, it still attracted a large player base, reaching over 6 million players in its first month. Wow. That must have been a lot of people missing Left 4 Dead. At the beginning of 2023, they announced the end of updates for Back 4 Blood to shift development resources to their next project, sparking speculation about what it could be. The most straightforward assumption to make was a sequel to Back 4 Blood, a theory supported by hints found in job listings. Now we can add more fuel to this theory, as we have found intriguing information to confirm the existence of this title. So this information comes from the resume of an actor and stuntman, Jesse Hutch, who worked on motion capture for the first game. In his resume, alongside other games like Dead by Daylight and Gears of War 4, a project called Gobi 2 can be found listed under Turtle Rock Studios, a project that seems to be Back 4 Blood 2. That's interesting. What leads us to believe that's a sequel? So the original Back 4 Blood codename was Gobi, as seen on the SteamDB page. So yeah, in May last year, the domain back4blood2.com was registered and remains active. Okay, yeah, that pretty much that confirms it. So that's pretty good. So fans of Back 4 Blood, you get a second game. I didn't know it has 6 million players. That's pretty good, and it's not a, I guess, live service game technically. So yeah, and it definitely wasn't free to play. So they got their money's worth. That's for sure. But okay, now let's get into the big news of the week. We got a lot of Sony news. So we'll start with this report that Sony might be trying to acquire, I'm probably going to pronounce it wrong, Katakawa Corporation. So Katakawa will go through everything that they own, but FromSoftware is a big part of that, which would be interesting if Sony ended up buying it. So it says Sony Group Corporation is in talks to acquire Katakawa Corporation, according to Reuters report, citing two sources familiar with the matter. Talks between the two sides are reportedly ongoing, and a deal could be signed in the coming weeks if successful, the source says. Sony declined to comment. So this is everything that they own. So they are the parent company of Acquire, FromSoft, Gotcha Games, Spike Chunsoft. Sony Group Corporation, subsidiary and PlayStation owner Sony Interactive, already owns 14% stake in FromSoft. I didn't know that. So they already own a stake. And then Katakawa Game Linkage operates major media like Famitsu, and Dengeki is also a games publisher. It says Nikkei has reported that negotiations are currently in the early stages. So that's interesting. So the cool thing about this, or not so cool, depending on how you, what side of the coin you land on, is, so FromSoft has been like, them and PlayStation or Sony has had a somewhat of a pretty good relationship. If you look back at, all right, Bloodborne, right? That's a lot of people's favorite game. They've been clamoring for that to come back, get a remake, a remaster, or a 60 frame per second mode, whatever. That was a PS4 exclusive. You had Demon's Souls, the remake. That was a PS5 launch title and exclusive. You had well, it's not a FromSoft game, but just they kind of lean into these Souls-like games, right? Like, so you had Neo and Neo 2 from, I think, Team Ninja, right? Ninja Theory did Hellblade, Team Ninja did Ninja Gaiden. So those are two, again, Souls-like games that are PS5 exclusives. You know, that's just kind of what Black Myth Wukong this year from, what's it called? Science Theory, Ninja Science, Game Science, the Chinese company. It's more of an action RPG, but it does have Souls-like elements. So, and it hasn't come out on Xbox yet. So PlayStation is really, even people were calling Stellar Blade kind of a Souls-like elements, was more of an action game too. But Sony's really leaning into that being their market, right? They're going to be the kind of known associated fan base or console to go with these Souls-like games, these Japanese, Chinese, Korean action RPGs and with Souls-like elements. That's kind of trying to be their market. Now, the other thing is apparently, now it doesn't say here, but I was reading it, but there are some like manga and anime subsidiaries as well as the gaming FromSoft and everything to go with Kadokawa. So that's interesting as well, because we know Sony also recently as in this was probably 10 years ago at this point, bought Crunchyroll, who also bought Funimation, and they're getting into that space. So they're kind of building somewhat of a monopoly on that side of the business. So anime, Asian, FromSoft, like Souls-like games, that whole side of the market. So it's an interesting get, and I think like other people have said, even with Xbox, we're kind of getting away from the big gigantic AAA like purchases. Like they already got Xbox, got Activision. We're not going to see, they got those other studios over the last 5 years. We're probably not going to see a lot of that moving forward, but we'll see more strategic gets like this. And trust me, this is still a great get. I mean, the Elden Ring was Game of the Year, considered one of the greatest games of all time. That's FromSoft. So we'll have to see where that goes. But also in Sony news, we're going to talk about the PlayStation Portal. Now, PlayStation Portal, notoriously, you needed to have, not only did you need to own a PS5, your PS5 needed to be on, and you had to be on the same Wi-Fi as it to use the PlayStation Portal. It was literally a streaming device that streamed from the console. But just recently, which is crazy because Xbox, we'll talk about them later, they was been talking about them getting a handheld and things like that, and getting a step up before Sony gets a dedicated handheld. But it seems like the Portal might be their, I don't want to say for sure the dedicated handheld, but I can't see them having this now with the updates and the different updates that might come in the future, and then also doing like another PSP. It wouldn't make sense to me. So this is from Tech. What's the website? Tech Radar. So it says PlayStation Portal cloud streaming is now in beta, right? With over 120 games playable for PlayStation Plus Premium members. So, I mean, I think it makes sense because Xbox, to do cloud, I believe you need Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. So them putting this behind Premium kind of makes sense, right? Because it costs a lot of money for their servers to do so. Of course, you want to incentivize your highest paying customers to get it and be able to fund it. So these are the details on it. So cloud streaming has come to PlayStation Portal via a firmware update, and this kind of came overnight. Like no one knew this was happening. There was no announcement. The update just came out. So it's in beta for right now, but it grants access to over 120 PlayStation 5 games, and you need a PS Plus Premium subscription. So the latest update adds a feature that many owners have wanted since launch: cloud streaming. The update is detailed in an official PlayStation blog post, where Vice President of Product Management Hiromi Wakai explains that cloud streaming is available on PlayStation Portal now in beta form. Just like on PS5, Portal owners will also need a PS Plus premium subscription to take advantage of cloud streaming. And the games include, some of the games include Ghost of Tsushima, Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart, Monster Hunter Rise, and much more. So that's pretty good, because you're thinking, okay, what 120 games are they going to pick? So those are, pretty good games that people might want to play, in bed, or just, relaxing, not having to sit on the couch in front of a console. So it says it targets 1080p 60 frames, but they recommend internet speeds of at least 13 megabits to achieve this. I mean, I think everybody has internet of 13, right? Like the lowest thing you can get is like 100 or 300. However, players on slower connection should also be able to access games in 720p. with at least 7 megabits. The cloud stream feature, which also includes up to 100 gigabytes of cloud storage for save data, can be enabled via the settings menu on the PlayStation Portal. Simply toggle cloud stream beta option, as it's going to be off by default, and then you can add a new thing. So players currently cannot stream PS4 or PS3 games, nor can they stream games purchased from the PlayStation Store. But the same goes for Party Chat and PS Plus game trials, which are also unavailable. This is likely because the feature is still in beta. So yeah, it's still early on, but I think this is good. This is really good for people that have a PS Portal. I'll be honest, cloud streaming still, even with my Xbox, like I don't have right now. I don't have fiber in this area, so I wouldn't get it. But if once I do, I mean, that's pretty attractive to me, and I wish I kind of had that now. I'm playing through Metaphor on the PS5, right? That would be great to play on the Portal. And the reason a lot of people want a dedicated handheld that plays stuff native is so you don't have to rely on internet connection, having a system, and all this extra stuff. Now, if you think about it, for people that don't even have a PS5, they can go out, grab the Portal, buy games that instead of spending $500, $600, $700 and just have that, there's some people that just play handheld gaming. There's people that just own Steam Decks or just own Switches. So for people that didn't want to buy PS5, now they could buy PS Portal and rock out. So that's definitely a great, a great feature, and hopefully they get it even better where it can, I don't know how it could somehow play natively, but if they get that rocking, I don't know what Xbox is going to do. So yeah. But speaking of PS5 and PS5 Pros and consoles, we all know the PS5 Pro launched. Some people are getting their anniversary editions in already. My anniversary controller should be here tomorrow, actually. So I'll probably do an unboxing for you guys. Do that on the throw it up on the shorts real quick. But apparently a few games are not doing so hot when it comes to the PS5 Pro. So it says developers of games that players have reported look worse on the PS5 Pro than they do on the PS5 are looking into the issue. The PS5 Pro is an advanced version of the base console, yada yada, we know. So two main games that have been pointed out were Star Wars Jedi Survivor and Silent Hill 2 Remake. And the Bloober team who did Silent Hill, they responded to a tweet. Someone said, hey, are you aware of the issues on PS5 Pro? And they're like, yes, we're working on it. And then same with Jedi Survivor. Where did it go? I don't have the exact tweets, but it's basically said they're active. Oh, EA said they're actively investigating. So this is what people have to realize too when it comes to the PS5 Pro or any of these upgraded systems, even the PS5 in general or the Xbox or whatever. Anytime you port a system over or you try to run software on new hardware, the developers have to optimize the game to run for that system. It's not just, oh, you plug it in and it's brand new, it's going to work automatically. Like, no, the games that work on PS5 Pro, like there's a reason there's a list of games and not just, oh, throw in your game and it's going to work. Developers had to sit there, they got a dev kit, work on the game to optimize it to run better. It doesn't just brute force run better, right? That's not how it works. So we're seeing a couple games, unfortunately, not run, honestly, worse than not run better, actually run worse than they ran on the PS5. So, I'm not surprised. We'll probably see a couple more games like this as the time goes on, but listen, it's new hardware. All the kinks going to get worked out at some point, and then everything will be fine. Speaking of Sony, let's look at some Black Friday deals. So a lot of these are on Amazon. We're going to look at Amazon right after this, but just some quick ones. So for Black Friday right now, you can get Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree Edition for $50, and you can get Elden Ring the base game for $20 on Amazon, which is amazing because Listen, I just bought Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree Edition like what 3 months ago, and I paid $80 because the games, which was a steal for me because the game was I think 70, and then the Shadow of the Erdtree expansion is $30. So I pretty much saved $20 buying it that way. But now I could have saved $50, but it is what it is. Persona 3 Reload, $25 steal. Again, great game. Put 70 hours into it myself. Definitely recommend it. Cyberpunk Ultimate Edition, $40. Again, good because the it comes with Phantom Liberty expansion, which is $30 on its own. So you're pretty much getting the whole game and the expansion for $10 more than the expansion costs on its own. Unicorn Overlord from Vanillaware, a lot of people like that game, $30. SMT5, I don't think it's with Vengeance though, but $25, not bad. Dragon Age of Veilguard, $63. Again, if I felt like if you wanted to play the game, you would have bought it already for 70, but hey. But on Amazon, we could look at the actual like full list. This is going on right now, so if y'all go on Amazon right now, you can get it. You got 2K25 for 57% off, $30. You got, like we said, Metaphor that just came out, 29% off. Elden Ring, 67% off. What's it called? Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, 43% off, which is like $40. I got that game for 50 and I pre-ordered it and I still haven't opened it, which is insane. But either way, you got Alan Wake 2 Deluxe Edition that comes with Alan Wake Remastered and all the Alan Wake 2 DLC. I was thinking about grabbing that too. I'm not gonna lie, I might grab that. I already bought Alan Wake Remastered on the Xbox, but I might grab that. I ain't gonna lie. Might get it on Xbox though, because I have all the other Remedy games on Xbox. Armored Core 6, Fires of Rubicon, $20. Star Wars Outlaws, $50. FC 25, I think $35. Like these games, man. Oh yeah, that it was SMT5 Vengeance, so you could get that on sale. Sandland, $20. Unicorn Overlord, 50% off. Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, 64% off. Like there's a lot of good. Dragon's Dogma 2, 43% off. Tekken 8, 40% off, bro. Yeah, man, y'all check out these deals for sure. Check out these deals on Amazon, because I might right now. I'm gonna tell y'all what I'm gonna grab. I'm gonna get Alan Wake 2 Deluxe Edition and try and play it on time. I'm gonna get Sandland, and I think I'm gonna get Armored Core 6. Grand Blue Fantasy Relink too. I just don't want to go too crazy buying stuff knowing I'm not gonna get to them like anytime soon, but definitely some great deals, man. Y'all check out Amazon. And check out all the retailers too, Walmart, everything, but Amazon got the goods. All right, now speaking of streaming, let's talk about Xbox Cloud streaming. So it says, after years of waiting, Xbox Cloud Gaming Stream Your Own Game feature is going live today. So this was published yesterday as of my recording this, so it's available today. Here's the list of 50 games available to buy and stream in the initial first wave, which is crazy because Xbox Cloud streaming has been in beta for a minute now, but either way, hey, better late than never. So here's the list. So here's what you need to know. So Cloud Gaming finally gets its own buy to own games, which I guess, okay, so that's kind of like the dedicated. I don't know what's the difference between, I guess, so you don't have to, if you want to own the game but you don't feel like downloading it and taking up too much storage, so you can do it that way. So Microsoft announced a few years ago its intent to add games to Xbox Cloud Gaming that you could be able to purchase and play it at any time. Feature took a long time to materialize, as we see here. It goes live today on xbox.com/play, the TV web app, Xbox app for PC, and Xbox consoles. Oh no. So it goes live today on xbox.com/play and the TV web app. But the Xbox app for PC and consoles is coming early next year. So you can't do it on PCs or I guess like handheld PCs like the ROG Ally and things like that, or even the Xbox console until early next year. That sucks. Anyway, the early 50 games, we don't have to go through the whole list, but Animal Well being on there is crazy. That's an indie game that came out this year, but Assassin's Creed Mirage, Balatro, Baldur's Gate 3, Modern Warfare 2, Cyberpunk, Dragon Quest 3 HD 2D, Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster, Hades, I see Hogwarts Legacy, Mortal Kombat 1, Prince of Persia Lost Crown. So there's some decent Space Marine 2. So there's some decent games on here, man. But you have to fully wait till early next year if you just try to play it on console and PC. But we did mention Alan Wake 2 earlier. We got some news from Remedy on what they're working on. So this is just an overview of, they had a Capital Markets Day. This is 2 days ago. So this was on Tuesday. So Alan Wake 2 sold almost 2 million copies. So 1.8 million copies, which again, they've said they're close to breaking even. It's kind of crazy. Like Remedy games, they're really good. Like Remedy's slowly becoming one of my favorite developers. You know, I love Capcom. I love, I'm getting more into like Cyberpunk games, Atlas and stuff like that. Like Remedy's right there. Like Quantum Break's great, Control's great, Alan Wake's great. I'm really excited for the remakes of Max Payne that's supposed to be coming out soon, or in a couple years, and then Control 2's on the way. So I don't know, more people need to buy their games, man, because like they got a live service game coming out. It's going to be day one in Game Pass too. So I don't know, it seems like they're barely above water, but I would like them to do a lot better. But so Alan Wake 2, 1.8 million units. Control Ultimate Edition's releasing on Mac on February 12th, 2025. Control 2 will be an action RPG. So that's interesting because Control is an action game and it has like a skill tree, and you can like upgrade your weapons. You can use skill points to get different abilities like levitating and telekinesis and things like that. So I'm curious to know why it says it'll be an action RPG, and maybe it'll have less story kind of. No, I can't see them getting out of the creepy meta, like, not metamorphosis, I don't know the word, like the metaphysical, supernatural, like investigative type of thing, because that's kind of how all their games are, but we'll see. It says Control will receive a free update in early 2025, unlocking some previously released content. So that's all we got from them so far. We do have the Lake House expansions that I think just came out. That's another reason I want to buy the Alan Wake 2 off of Amazon, because the Game of the Year edition comes with the expansion. So I'll probably buy that. But good on Remedy. Good on Remedy. So about the Game Awards, go on their website. So the nominees came out, and we don't have to go through all of it. The main hubbub was around the Game of the Year. We can go through some of the categories. I did my voting video, so y'all check that out. But first category right off the bat, Game of the Year. So I pretty much, and most people, guessed all of these. So Astrobot, we knew. Black Myth Wukong, we knew. Metaphor, we were hoping, and it was good to see it in there. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth was basically a lock. Now the next two, most people were not saying. People were saying Stellar Blade. People were saying Dragon's Dogma 2. People were saying Infinite Wealth. Some people was hoping Tekken would get in there, but we got Balatro, which I heard was a really big indie game. So it's good to, apparently they always have an indie like darling in there, so that made sense. But then Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree, and the controversy for that came from the fact that before the nominees came out, literally a day or two before, they said, hey, DLC and expansions are considered, and people was like, oh, they throw Shadow of the Erdtree there, which I'm not mad at it being nominated in other categories, because it was great expansion. It was honestly a second game. It was almost like a smaller sequel to Elden Ring. But for Game of the Year, we could have put a lot of other stuff in there. And I get it. It was the highest rated game this year so far, but it should not have been in there. Art direction was pretty much the same games we just mentioned. Narrative, Infinite Wealth, Metaphor, Hellblade 2, Rebirth, Silent Hill 2, art direction, same thing. Neva, I've heard Neva's pretty good. Check that out. Score and music, Metaphor, Rebirth, Astrobot. I don't think Astrobot's gonna win. I think they just put it in. Astrobot got like 7 nominations or something. Audio design, all this kind of stuff. So again, we'll have to see. The Game Awards are not next week, but the week, not even the week after that. It's 2 weeks. Yeah. So 2 weeks from today, right? No, today's the 21st. 1, 2. Okay, 3 weeks. So 3 weeks from today, we'll have the Game Awards. I'll stream it. We'll see what announcements we get. I honestly kind of don't want to sit through 3 hours of it, but if I'm going to watch it anyway, I'd rather stream it, get the video out, than watching on my own and sitting down and recording a whole separate video for it and everything. And everyone's going to be doing a video the night of and everything. So we'll just knock that out real quick. All right, now let's talk about Activision games. So this is from Hazardor Gaming. So this is, it says rumor. So multiple licensed Activision, and we keep getting these reports, right? Because of Xbox owning Activision now. When are these games going to come out? We keep seeing, we've seen Transformers games pop up on Steam or PC or Xbox or whatever, but you can't buy it, or stuff on back pages and things like, not back pages, well, or maybe that is what it's called, but so it says some of these SteamDB pages have been updated 5 days ago. So Marvel Ultimate Alliance 1 and 2, Deadpool, Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions, and Transformers Devastation, War of Cybertron, and Fall of Cybertron. And it says if you go to SteamDB, you'll see update history. And now a lot of people are, listen, they've been waiting. We've all been waiting. We're getting a small trickle down or drip feed of Activision games from Xbox. We got, what did we get? We got some of the Blizzard games, like we got Diablo's in there. We got Call of Duty, Black Ops 6 Day 1, Modern Warfare 3's in there. We got, what's the joint? Spyro and Crash trilogies in there. So they're slowly pushing these games out, but what everybody's waiting on is those Transformers games and a bunch of those old Marvel games. Obviously, licenses with Hasbro and everything, that all comes into play. So we'll have to see. There's a lot that has to go into play for those games to come out. But all right, speaking of Xbox, let's get into our last topic. So we will be looking at, I'll throw this on the screen for y'all. I'll be reading this as you guys watch. So a lot of people got some hands-on time with Avowed. So there's some details, so I'll just leave the video up while I'll read these. Apparently some people got like 6 hours of play time, but you've seen like there's like six minute videos. This is from IGN. So here's some details on it. So it says you play as the Envoy, a fully customizable character traveling to the Living Lands, which is the setting of the game, on orders from the leader of the A.T.E.R. Empire, a nation of humans and elves. The Living Lands have a sort of Wild West frontier vibe where people head there in search of a better life full of rough and tumble type inhabitants. As the Emperor's envoy, most people immediately look at with wild distrust. I guess he meant to say look at you with wild distrust or full hostility as they see the A.T.E.R. Empire trying to establish a foothold there. You're sent there to investigate the Dream Scourge. The game's not fully open world, but it's made up of open zones, similar to the Outer Worlds, which makes sense because Obsidian did that game as well. It's made its focus that each area is fully handcrafted and interesting things to do. So that's good because a lot of people don't like the, procedurally generated and everything like that. Open class approach to combat. So you have a backstory. You could be a war hero, arcane scholar, etc. Determines your starting weapon, but you can find other options as you play, like spears, swords, shields, pistols, and can freely wield them. Store 2 weapon loadouts at a time. Swap between them instantly, including mid-attack combo. Hitting enemies damages health and builds up stagger. Sneak around stealthily and get enemies from behind to use, so you can use the environment as your advantage. Okay, like shooting fiery berries to start a fire. Okay, that's dope. You can bypass stuff through stealth or through dialogue options. Combat's described as fast and fluid, managing your stamina meter to dictate your attacks, dodging unblockable enemy attacks, charging up weapons, being able to dual wield, double swords, shield, spear, and pistol. Always feels like you have something up your sleeve. Some previewers, however, felt the combo was also undeniably on the easy side. That's interesting. I mean, I don't know. I feel like we've heard the same thing for I've heard South of Midnight doesn't look that difficult either, but if you're into the world, how you're going to go about, obviously you want some type of challenging combat, but I think the exploration and the amount of ways you can get through and the missions and the dialogue, that'll be like the real star of this game. Eurogamer worries the Living Lands might not be as strange as Obsidian hopes it feels like, as there was nothing that popped out as unique or wildly original. Structured level systems spend skill points in skill trees like fighter or ranger. Unlock special abilities that run on cooldown timers. Many choices make in the game, like happening upon a smuggler in a cave in the first outpost, whereby she's immediately distrustful of you, and it's up to you whether to release her or not. So there's a lot of choice and consequence there. What else? So you go through the main first place, and then you're free to explore wherever you like. Side quests immediately become available, and they'll impact your main story and vice versa. That's good. Exploring off the beaten path can often be rewarding, like happening upon a ruined tower that doesn't show up as an icon on the map. Okay, so that's interesting. So yeah, I mean, you're kind of what do you call it? Like enticed to kind of explore because you won't see everything on the map of where to go and everything like that. Writing is more grounded compared to relentless zaniness of the Outer Worlds, though still retains Obsidian's trademark humor, but more natural to dialogue and less pressure to be quippy and quirky. Kai, the bluish green Amawa companion from past footage, accompanies you early on. Companions are a constant presence, commenting on landmarks you pass by during combat and generally feeling like a fellow traveler rather than trailing quietly behind you. So that's good. So I was looking over as I was really just looking at the game. First of all, why did they make this character look like that? But I'm excited for this game. A lot of people was thinking, oh, it's going to get delayed again. It got delayed from November. I think we didn't get an actual date, but it was supposed to be 2024. Some people thought November 18th, I believe, was the leak date. And then it's got moved to February 18th, which arguably is a lot rougher. I think they just wanted to do that because you have Call of Duty, you got Flight Simulator, you got S.T.A.L.K.E.R, you got Indiana Jones. I think it does make sense to move it out to next year when you could kind of give it some breathing room. So then you got this in February. You probably got Doom in like end of May or June. Then you got South of Midnight, probably in August or September. And then you got Fable at some point, maybe in November or so. So, I mean, the game looks good. I'll try it out. Again, the Outer Worlds, I kind of gave up on because it was just, I don't know, it was just too fetch questy to me at some point. Like, it was like, hey, I need you to do this. And you're like, okay, why? And you're like, I'll give you this. Like, okay, you go there, you do it. And they're like, oh, I don't have that anymore, but I'll give you something like it if you go here and then collect this and then kill this thing. It's like, okay, go do it. Then you, like, I don't know. It wasn't, it wasn't for me. But the combat and everything itself, and what I'm hearing about, like, just the open world and the fact that you can find stuff that's not necessarily, you know, indicated, it's making me kind of want this game. But that's about it. That'll do it for this episode. Again, thank you everybody who's been new here, people that are, you know, been here for a while. Make sure you tell all your friends about it. Leave a like on this video, subscribe, of course. Check out all my other videos, everything else I got going on. Keep looking forward to more content on the channel, and I'll see you on the next episode.